Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Thursday, the 4th of July, 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 rose 1.2% today, or 92 points, to 7,833 points, its highest level since June 25. The miners were the stars of the show, with the materials index up more than 2%. Interest rate-sensitive sectors like the property and financial companies also did well. There were some big movers among the large caps. BHP and Fortescue both jumped around 3%, while Rio Tinto was up 2.6%. Commonwealth Bank led the banks higher, jumping 2%, while Goodman Group rose 2.1%. The gold miners also did well as the price of the precious metal rose. Not so good was WiseTech Global. It fell nearly 1%. In fact, it was the only top 20 stock to go backwards today. Also, the coal companies pulled back somewhat. They've had a good few days. A little bit of profit-taking going on. Story number 2, first-term Senator Fatima Payman has quit the Labor Party and will sit on the Senate crossbench, meaning Labor will be left with 25 senators and will need 14 further votes to pass legislation. After crossing the floor on a Greens motion recognising Palestinian statehood last week, the Western Australian senator had been suspended from Labor caucus meetings and held talks with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese over recent days. Senator Payman's move means she will join 3 other defectors on the Senate crossbench. That's Lydia Thorpe, Tammy Tyrrell and David Van. It's been a turbulent few days for everyone involved. Senator Payman, after formally quitting, said she'd been intimidated on many fronts by Labor colleagues and people outside politics. Payman said she faced stand-up tactics and death threats over her decision to cross the floor. Her conversations with the Prime Minister were stern but fair, she said. Fatima Payman said debate around the war between Israel and Hamas had left her no choice but to quit the ALP. Story number 3, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission has given Lendlease and Stockland a 2-month deadline to cut 1/3 of the assets out of their agreed $1.3 billion master planned community sale. Or maybe they can try and convince the competition watchdog that its concerns are unfounded, according to a report in the Financial Review. The ACCC yesterday delayed a final decision on Lendlease's $1.3 billion housing portfolio sale to mid-September, saying the proposed transaction could lessen competition in 4 regional residential markets. The ACCC is concerned the deal would remove one of Stockland's closest and largest competitors in the Illawarra in New South Wales, Northwest Perth, Ipswich and Moreton Bay in Queensland. Story number 4, Wall Street keeps going and going and going. This morning, the S&P 500 closed at another record high, as did the tech-heavy NASDAQ. Helping equities was data suggesting a cooling of the US labour market and the release of the Federal Reserve Board minutes, which were considered less hawkish than the previous month. In commodity markets, oil's trading just under $87 a barrel, gold's back above $23.50 an ounce. Bitcoin's dropped somewhat. It's fetching less than $59,000 a unit, and the news out of the US pushed the Aussie dollar back above 67 US cents. And story number 5, an update on Hurricane Beryl in the Caribbean. It's the earliest hurricane on record to develop into a Category 5 storm. The hurricane has already hit Grenada, St. Vincent and Jamaica, and overnight it was expected to cross the Cayman Islands. Mexican authorities have issued a hurricane warning for parts of its east coast. Some weakening is forecast during the next couple of days. Let's hope so. The US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has forecast between 8 and 13 hurricanes this season, which runs from August to November, though this hurricane has obviously come early. That's it for the afternoon report for Thursday, the 4th of July, 2024. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, TikTok and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. The top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.